Welcome on in, golf fans. It's your boy Gsluke here with our prop preview for round one of the Players Championship, the first real big time event of this year. And I know we've had a few elevated fields, but this is a near major championship type of venue, and of course a track with just all the stars out there playing. So looking forward to being out there in person once again, like it was last week at the API and there for the Honda. And in this video, going to break down what to expect from TPC Sawgrass, which of course is the venue and iconic one for this week. And then at the end, gonna give you a glimpse at a look at a few prize picks and a few of the underdog props that I've already taken here. Now, they're not gonna be every prop I'm taking, but just an idea so that you can start to make a few of your own cards and go out there and hopefully make some money here on Thursday. So let's start with the course, which last year played a little bit more difficult than what we're used to seeing. A lot of that was weather-wise on actually Friday through Sunday, and they actually didn't finish the event until Monday evening and hardly got it in there on Monday. There were heavy winds, heavy rains for about the second through third round, and that's why the scoring average was a little bit higher than what you're used to seeing at 0.62 shots over. Your driving accuracy, your green regulation percentage were actually right about their tour average, but considering the weather conditions, they could have been even higher. And ever since they've changed the date, it used to be there towards the summer months when they played the Players, but they moved it into March. And now that it's in March, the greens around this track play a lot softer, and you've seen lower winning scores ever since the date changes happened. So in terms of your averages, I actually expect them to go up this year with relatively benign conditions expected for Thursday and Friday, and of course the same date on the schedule. So last year, the driving accuracy was right around 9 fairways hit. It was 907 on average for the field. In terms of your greens regulation, it was a 66.6% rate on hitting greens, which is exactly there at 12, right? Just a little bit below that if you're actually going out there and adding it all up. But with the field average at 12 greens and the field average at 9 fairways, it makes the analysis pretty straightforward, right? It's not like it's 9.5. It's not like the field average was like 11.7 or something like that. So when we're taking a look at the board, and a lot of them are priced, you can see at 9 fairways, we're going to talk about Tom Kim later, or a lot of the guys down here at 12 greens regulation. Just keep that in mind, right, when we're going through some of the props. In terms of your weather for Thursday, it's looking relatively calm in the morning hours. It's actually slightly windier than the afternoon, which is a little bit backwards from what we would expect. But in terms of your conditions, they don't look all that bad in round one. Now, it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to see super low scores out there, but you're not going to see carnage there either. So with all that in mind, what props am I going after? And we're going to start with greens and regulation. And on Prize Picks, their props for birdies and for strokes are a little bit stiffer, I would say, than over there in Underdog. So we're going to focus on the green and regulation in the fairway props on Prize Picks, where I think there's a little bit more value, and of course, where they're not going to be over there in Underdog, right? They don't post green or fairway props. But like I mentioned, these guys at 12 greens that are elite level iron players, you'd have to take the over on, right? Especially if I'm considering that the greens are going to be extra receptive and we're probably going to see a higher green regulation rate than what we saw last year. So guys like Justin Thomas, other elite tier iron players up here, there's actually plenty of them that I'm adding to my cards here. I'm taking the overs on. Whereas, let's say a Christian Bezainhout right down here at 12 greens, he's a well below average iron player, right? Somebody that misses, I don't know, on average, right? He's a loser on tour when it comes to his shots gained approach, which means we're projecting him much closer to like 11, potentially even like 10.5 greens regulation, depending on the form coming in. And based on what we've seen, he's lost in 4 out of his last 5 starts when it comes to the iron play. And the only time that he was able to gain strokes with the irons was in one of the weaker fields during the fall swing. So for me, it's pretty straightforward what you're going to do here with greens regulation, right? The sub-tier iron players, you take their unders, and then elite tier players like a JT and a few others up here would be clear leans towards the over. If you're looking for all the guys I'm taking, of course, I do post all of those on my Patreon page, including a write-up for why I'm taking them. You can get an idea for the rest of the guys I'm getting exposure on. But in terms of fairways hit, the field average was 9 last year, and you can see the elite tier guys are projected at the average. So just one I want to point out here would be Tom Kim, right? He's a well over average player when it comes to the driving accuracy. In fact, he was a top 5 player, at least to this point of the season, right? Has been a top 5 player on tour when it comes to driving accuracy. And last year in his small sample, he was number 1 on tour in driving accuracy. So at 9 fairways hit, I'm definitely taking his over, but there's even players the whole way down to 8 fairways I would consider taking their over on, considering that they just have to be about field average, right, to go out there and hit. So a lot of overs for fairways I think you can get to. And then, like I said, for greens regulation, bunch of guys at 12 that I'd be considering taking for overs as well. But in terms of your birdies are better in strokes, they're a little bit stiffer, like I said, than what you have on Underdog. Just I think there's a little bit of price shopping that you can do there, which of course we're going to hop into right now. So for Underdog, they have guys at 3.5 birdies, right? Like Sam Burns, he would easily be 4 birdies over there on Prize Picks. Sahith Theegala, Ricky Fowler, I believe are already at 4 birdies over here on Prize Picks. So let's double check that. Let's see. Sahith, is there at 4 birdies. Ricky Fowler's already there at 4 birdies. So if you're going to take supportive stances, which with relatively low wins in round 1, right? Round 1's also going to be one of the easier rounds that they have all week. You know, for guys that have elite level birdie making ability like Ricky Fowler, Sahith Theegala, I'm going to be taking the overs on them, and especially because the average for birdies around this course is right around 3.6. And based on the recent form, based on pedigree with a Theegala, these guys are not just slightly better than average players in this field, they're in the top 10 to 20% of it. So love both of the overs here. I mean, you have a morning tee time for Ricky, which is going to help him. Sure, it's a PM tee time for Theegala, which isn't ideal, but still plays that'd be, taking the positive stance on. But for strokes, like Sibu's at 72 over here on Prize Picks. Sibu, I believe, is at like 71.5, if memory serves me correctly. Let's see. Where's good old Sibu Kim? I know he was on the board, right? Because he's won here before. I guess not. Oh, there he... did I just pass over him? No, I guess not. So I guess they don't have Sibu up there, but I would imagine he would be at... Actually, he is at 72 strokes. So I guess they have him the same on both sites. But what's his birdie or better line, right? It's 3.5 over there on Underdog. Is it 4? Yeah, that's right. It's 4 over here on Prize Picks. So, like I said, I think some of the overs for birdies make sense over here in Underdog. I mean, even some of the strokes lines are different. So, like, we go to the top, I'm pretty sure it's pretty consistent, right? Like 70 for those top-end players. On Prize Picks, let's see. They're actually 70.5. So, it's interesting, right? For birdies, you want to go over there and you want to play an Underdog. But for strokes, at least for these top-tier dudes, you might want to take unders over here on Prize Picks. So it's an interesting slate. I haven't taken these unders. I'm actually waiting to see the course tomorrow. I'm going to be out there for the Pro-Am, walking the course, looking at the rough, seeing how soft the greens are, all that sort of fun stuff. And though I already have, I think it's 16 props in at this point, what I've posted on Patreon, I'm likely to have like 10 to 15 more, right? After I see conditions, maybe the greens are harder than I expected. Maybe the conditions look a little bit easier or harder than what we see year to year, and I'll make adjustments for that and be posting even more. So that's what I'm working with for right now. Just line shop, right? Make sure that you're getting the best line humanly possible. Like I said, the elite tier guys, like you'd want to take them over here on Prize Picks, whereas some of the lower tier guys where birdies are better, like you got to be looking on Underdog. So just make sure you're doing that properly. Keep an eye on this weather forecast. Again, it looks relatively benign right now, but weather in Florida can be extremely variable, so make sure nothing changes there. And if you're looking for all of that data I was looking at before, that's on Data Golf, a great resource for all of that sort of, GIR, driving accuracy, percentages, all that sort of fun stuff to get you started with your week. But like I said, best of luck. Go out there, win some money for Thursday, make me proud. And if you're looking for even more analysis, you want to become a part of the community, get all of those prop write-ups, access to the Discord, access to all my DFS projections that I'm doing over there for Draftkings, make sure to check out the Patreon. The link is down below. Like I said, I appreciate it, guys. Go ahead, comment down below what your top prop of the week is. Smash that like button, and I'll catch you guys next time.